Chapter 12. '01. Lui Qun Xing. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Sun was shining bright in the sky of northern plains, with no clouds to be seen in the surroundings. However, at Blood Plain, starlight shone brilliantly, as if stars filled the sky. Golden Dawn Hall was quietly floating in the air. It stood majestically, no matter how much turbulence was going on outside. It remained lofty and unmoved. In contrast, the Gu immortals on Chudu's side were all standing on clouds, their expressions looking unsightly or filled with worries. Chudu was expressionless, but his gaze that looked at the battle was extremely heavy. Immortal Wong is going to lose. Chudu sighed internally. In the center of the battlefield, Immortal Wong was fighting with the righteous path, Gu Immortal Lui Qun Xing. Immortal Wong had already transformed into a heaven-swallowing hound, charging left and right with astonishing might. The heaven-swallowing hound was an immemorial desolate beast, but Immortal Wong was only a rank 7 Gu Immortal. This transformation path immortal killer move also did not have a relevant rank 8 Immortal Gu in it. So this heaven-swallowing hound's battle strength was only at rank 7 level. And Immortal Wong's opponent, Lui Qun Xing, was tall and thin like a bamboo pole. He had 3 strands of hair as a beard and had a yellowish-white complexion. Right now, he was far away from the heaven-swallowing hound. Hundreds of star fragments were flying around him, shining with brilliant light, dyeing the sky a color of blue. Immortal Wong's heaven-swallowing hound transformation used all its strength to attack. However, countless star fragments, big and small, tightly surrounded him. Of these star fragments, small ones were the size of a lantern, while the big ones were the size of an elephant. They kept on flying around. A small portion were encircling Immortal Wong with dizzying speed, while the larger portion were encircling Lui Qun Xing, moving slowly in a mysterious trajectory. Plop! A muffled sound echoed. A star fragment firmly collided against Immortal Wong's body. The heaven-swallowing hound's movement slowed and exposed a flaw when it tried to dodge. Boom, boom, boom! 3 muffled sounds resounded as this opportunity was taken. Star fragments collided against Immortal Wong fiercely. The heaven-swallowing hound let out a low growl, coughing out a large amount of blood. Its feet staggered and almost fell down to the ground. Any Gu Immortal with eyes could see who was in control of the situation. Immortal Wong was the one attacking, but was in an absolute disadvantage from start to finish. And the defending Lui Qun Xing was the one who held the upper hand, putting himself behind layers of defense. This battle tactic was naturally a correct one. One often had to choose long-range battle when dealing with transformation path Gu Immortals. Because the Gu Immortal that transformed into Desolate Beast, Ancient Desolate Beast, or even Immemorial Desolate Beast, would have a strong and sturdy body, just relying on their transformed body's quality, their battle strength would increase to a terrifying level. Gu Immortals of other paths mostly had human bodies. Their physical qualities were weak. Even if they had powerful defensive methods, they did not want to put themselves in such a dangerous situation where they were fighting with their weakness against a transformation path, Gu Immortal's strength. The dominance was already clear. Lui Qun Xing was in an impregnable position. He spoke in a clear voice. "It is useless, Immortal Wong. My immortal killer move was created by taking Dongfang Changfan's myriad star fireflies as a reference. The flying trajectory is extremely profound and inscrutable. Previously, 6 star fragments could completely obstruct you. Now there are at least 36 star fragments around you. How will you break through?" This Lui Qun Xing was also a person with an interesting past. He had challenged Dongfang Changfan and had suffered defeat after defeat, but had still persisted in challenging him. Dongfang Changfan was a righteous path figure, the #1 wisdom path Gu Immortal of Northern Plains who had single-handedly led Dongfang tribe to prominence. Lui Qun Xing's defeats did not make Northern Plains Gu Immortals feel he was weak. Instead, they very much appreciated him fighting back despite the repeated setbacks and his steady, unwavering spirit. As one of the leading figures of the righteous path, Dongfang Changfan could not lay a heavy hand on Lui Qun Xing, who was similarly of Huangjin bloodline. There was even one time when after he defeated Lui Qun Xing, he personally instructed him regarding some secrets of myriad star fireflies. Lui Qun Xing treated the guidance as a precious treasure, immediately going into close cultivation. Unknown to him, this was precisely Dongfang Changfan's scheme. Dongfang Changfan had not only gotten rid of the annoying Lui Qun Xing, this also expressed his goodwill to Yelui tribe, and had smoothly accomplished an instance of collaboration with Yelui tribe, gaining large amounts of benefits. Lui Qun Xing had originally felt that Dongfang Changfan was a thorn in his eyes, but having obtained benefits from Dongfang Changfan, he did not feel he could shamelessly challenge Dongfang Changfan again. After coming out of his closed cultivation, he chose to focus hard on his own development, and did not even find trouble with other Gu immortals of Dongfang tribe. As such, this trump card killer move of his clearly bore resemblance to myriad star fireflies. Myriad star fireflies was Dongfang Changfan's killer move, which was famous throughout the whole of Northern Plains' Gu immortal world. Lui Qun Xing's move, however, treated the star fragments as the main body. It could be considered as him creating his own unique method. A real star was extremely huge. Fang Yuan had been using Star Eye's immortal Gu up until now, and had only managed to refine one star. Immortal Wong's heaven-swallowing hound transformation kept on coughing up blood and was struck by more and more star fragments. He could not even retort. He was dizzy and was heavily injured. Moreover, his immortal essence expenditure had reached an enormous amount. The immortals on Chudu's side showed even more unsightly looks. If Immortal Wong is defeated, he would be the fourth person Lui Qun Xing has defeated from our side. His immortal killer move is truly too powerful. When it was just 2 or 3 star fragments, they can still be resisted. When 15 star fragments appear and they work together as one, the difficulty to resist them increases by countless times. Right now, he already has 100 star fragments, achieving complete dominance. This simply cannot be resisted. Inside Golden Dawn Hall, the Righteous Path Immortals had smiles on their faces. Lui Xiaojin was watching the battle with excitement. Lui Qun Xing was his senior. Seeing the senior about to defeat his fourth opponent, Lui Xiaojin also felt excitement and pride. On the other side, Nian Erpingzhe was still regulating his breathing. One thing worth mentioning was that Nian Er tribe's position had already moved to the center. This was because of Nian Erpingzhe's battle, where he had killed the rank 7 demonic path expert Granny Yin. Many rank 6 geniuses and experts had the battle strength to go against rank 7, but being able to kill rank 7 was a different level altogether. Adding Nian Erpingzhe's young age to this battle achievement, this undoubtedly became even more rare. By this time, the allied Righteous Path forces and the alliance of Chu Sect and Bai Zhu had already gone through over 10 battles. At the start, Chu Du had the discerning eye to send out the promising young Shuo Wuhen, who won 3 battles in a row, awing others. Then, from the Righteous Path side, Gong Wanting sent Nian Erpingzhe, similarly a rising young genius. Nian Erpingzhe's battle result was even more brilliant, using the immortal killer move Sword Heart Clarity and killing the renowned demonic path expert Granny Yin. Afterwards, Gong Wanting negotiated with Chu Du, and the two sides temporarily stopped the battle, setting rules regarding exchange of corpses. Then the battle began again. Yuan tribe of the Righteous Path, Hmong tribe, and other tribes' Gu immortals appeared one after the other, while Chu Du sent out Haozhen, Chou Lao Wu, as well as some Gu immortals of Baizu tribe to contest with them. Perhaps it was because they were senior Gu immortals. Each side had their own victories and defeats, and suffered varying degrees of injuries. But there were no deaths. Seeing the situation seemingly entering a stalemate, Gong Wanting pondered for a while before sending Lui Qun Xing, knowing this person was a true main strength among Yelui tribe's force. He was an expert among rank 7 Gu immortals. Although he had many losses among his battle achievements, they were against Dongfang Changfan. Naturally, no one would look down on him. What made people especially admire him were his character and spirit. He had suffered many defeats from Dongfang Changfan, but he always came back stronger. Worth mentioning was that Lui Hong had the highest seniority, but his battle strength could not compare to Lui Qun Xing. The righteous path paid attention to seniority, unlike the demonic path, which only looked at strength. Finally, Chudu spoke. "All right, this battle is our loss." Immortal Wong retreated with a shameful expression. Lui Qun Xing also did not forcibly go after his life. After all, Immortal Wong still had the ability to protect himself, and it would give enough time for Chudu to come help. Immortal Wong was pale, his mood extremely complicated. He was the fourth opponent of Lui Qun Xing, and had originally thought of having gotten an easy opportunity, but the result was that Lui Qun Xing's battle strength had not fallen even after 3 battles. Immortal Wong returned to his human form and walked towards Chudu, saying in a heavy voice, "That Lui Qun Xing's immortal killer move is extremely ingenious. His immortal essence expenditure is definitely small, and the star fragments have mutual attraction force between them, creating a good deal of starlight magnetic force. I'm afraid it would not be easy to discern the mysteries of this killer move unless one is a star path Gu immortal. The opponent would be implicated by these star fragments. These star fragments are very fast, and sometimes they would suddenly form a formless force which skewed my direction, making me lose control over myself many times. Now that I think of it, Lui Qun Xing was weakest in the first battle. Now he has already released 100 star fragments, forming an array for battle. The ones who will go later will lose many advantages, and would find it very difficult to go against this array." Immortal Wang's tone was sincere. These were his sincere words. They were also reasons given to excuse himself and not be held at fault. Chudu nodded and patted Immortal Wang's shoulder. "No need to say much. It is good that you returned safely." It was a simple action, but this action almost made Immortal Wang's eyes tear up. "Who wants to come fight next?" At this time, Lui Qun Xing called out. It seems this person still does not want to retreat and wants to fight his 5th battle. Chudu's expression slightly changed, killing intent flashing in his eyes. The immortals behind him started whispering. "He has already defeated 4 people in a row. He still seems to have strength remaining. Immortal Wang's strength is outstanding. He transformed into a heaven-swallowing hound, but was still unable to win Sai." Baizu tribe's Gu immortals were silent. Baizu Wei was already dead. What they were good at was not individual battle strength, but Green City Rampage. Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu's Wind Thunder Roar was renowned throughout Northern Plains. It could be considered a trump card that could pressure the opponents and make them feel apprehensive. It was only that they had already battled separately and still bore some injuries. When Gu immortals were injured, because of the conflict of Dao marks, they were very difficult to heal. For a moment, Chudu actually found that he had fallen into an awkward situation of having no experts to send. Comparatively, in the righteous path, experts filled Golden Dawn Hall, while Chudu's side was only an alliance of the newly established Baizu tribe and his sect. They indeed had few members and were seriously stretched out.